Alrighty, so on the prone leg curl or any other hamstring machine that I get, which is likely, what we want to really be focusing on here is that we are trying to use our hamstrings, all these little suckers up here, in order to lift our lower leg up and around the corner. So if I can get this to disappear, which would be helpful, then we can get a little bit more zoomed in, or first I'll do a little bit more of a drawn out view, where you are trying to use these muscles in this area in order to take your tibia around this arc. Now let's see if that'll stay for me. Traveling around this arc, and at the end of the movement you're actually pushing upwards, but at the beginning you're kind of almost pushing it backwards. You want to make sure that your thighs and femur kind of rest into whatever pad. On the prone leg curl, you're laying face down. You want to kind of push your thighs down into the pad before you initiate the movement. On a seated leg curl, which I don't have yet, but I probably will get, you want to make sure that your thighs kind of rest into the pad above on the top of your thighs while you then bend your legs around it. So you should be able to find these hamstrings engaging on this exercise, hopefully pretty quickly. And in your brain, what often seems to help with people is if you get real focused on what's happening right here. In this little knee joint, what you're trying to do is narrow this angle from being straight to almost like you're trying to pinch like a tennis ball back there, because these muscles live right, they attach right here. And on the other side, which I can't spin it now that I did this, but on the other side, they kind of run down like into the other side back here, a little dotted line. And that's what their job is to pull that tibia up and around. So in your brain, you want to kind of have a nice combination of moving around this arc that I already talked about, while trying to move around that arc by using these muscle attachments at the very top of your tibia. So I got a tibia right here. So what you're trying to do is these muscles attach femur, tibia, right along the back here of this tibia, and their job is to pull this kind of up and around this way. So we still want to think about this nice wide arc of motion, so we're not just trying to go straight from here to here, which hopefully wouldn't dislocate your knee. We're not just going straight there. We're trying to move in a wide manner around that arc using the muscles that attach right here, right on top of this area, to then lift that tibia up and around. And so if you really get focused on trying to narrow this angle from being all the way straight to narrowing it to 90 degrees, you may not even get to 90 degrees on the machine, but we'll talk about that in our one-on-ones. But you're trying to narrow this angle in between this area in order to, let's see if I can get rid of some of these. Nice, there we go. You're trying to narrow that angle with the muscles that attach along the top of your tibia, trying to get a nice, solid, comprehensive hamstring contraction here with all these guys, because they attach, as you can see now if I spin it, right in here on the, the upper portion, the proximal, what's called proximal, closer to your knee joint section of your tibia, to then pull it up towards where these all attach, which is right in here on your sit bone. So if you think bringing this sort of tibia area right here, if I can do it with the cursor, this area right up towards the sit bone. That's the place that we're trying to close together. We're trying to bring those two attachments closer together by moving around that nice arc of motion that I drew here with this black line, but using these things close to your knee joint. I only reiterate this so many times because as soon as people start thinking about the attachments close to their knee joint, it's common for people to then cut the arc of motion and get some weird stuff in their knees. So you want to think a nice wide arc around that path, which if I let this go to the beginning again, like so, and then draw on it again, add drawing, start drawing. You're thinking, I have this arc kind of displayed here that I'm going to get rid of now. Maybe, just kidding, I can't. But you're thinking not about an arc from down here, you're thinking about an arc from right here where these attachments are up and around that corner. One more time. Those are the things that we are trying to move around that arc. Let me see if I can do this now. Clear drawings. Yes, thank you. Now we're trying to move this section, add drawing, start drawing, up and around this arc. So it is not in red, because it's not, just straight to this point. That's not what we want to do. It's this black line of this nice arc of motion up and around the corner, like so. Now let's let it play again and see if I got the drawing right. Yeah, it's pretty good. That could have been a little better, but that's not too bad. Starting right there, up and around that arc. So hopefully this helps you get your intention right in terms of what's happening inside of your body on any of the hamstring machines or exercises that I have you doing.